ESPN Wednesday Night Hockey. Welcome, everybody. It's presented by Nextel. We're in our nation's capital, where tonight the Washington Capitals at home to meet the St. Louis Blues. Second time these teams have met this season, and the final time they'll play one another, at least in the regular season.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to ESPN's Wednesday Night Hockey. It's now time to introduce the starting lineups for tonight's game. For the visiting St. Louis Blues, on defense, number 43, Mike Van Ryn. And number 44, Chris Pronger. At left wing, number 9, Tyson Nash. At right wing, number 21, Jamal Mayers. At center, number 32, Mike Eastwood. And in goal, number 35, Brent Johnson. And now, the starting lineup for your nation's Capitals! On defense, number 2, Ken Lee. And number 4, František Kuchera. And number 58, J.F. Fortin. At right wing, number 68, Jaromir Jagr. At center, number 77, Adam Oates. And in goal, number 37, Oli Kose.
So there you go. The starters for tonight's game, and one these two want to put into that W column. And Jaromir Jagr, the man who's averaging more points per game than anyone, will look to add to it. Welcome back, everybody. Here in our nation's capital, it's more like summer. 77 degrees today at National Airport. Inside, not that hot, obviously, but the Caps hope they can equal the temperature outside on their home ice tonight. They are going to be shy, some people, again. And, Bill, we're going to keep an eye on how they play this game defensively.
Part of it will involve a guy like Ken Lee, who is going to be the up defenseman. Think about this system in really terms of 2 forwards, then 1 defenseman, then 2 regular defensemen in the back. The guy in the middle, the guy that plays the 1 position in the 2-1-2. In this case, Ken Lee does for Ronnie Wilson. Got to have mobility. Gonchar will probably play there when his turn comes up.
We are ready to go, as it'll be Eastwood for St. Louis, and Adam Oates will take the face-off for the Capitals. The Capitals without Steve Konowalchuk, an important winger, Kelly Johansson, a vital defenseman, Jeff Helfrich, a center, all have substantial injuries and are out for the Washington Capitals. Dmitry Kristich, Joe Sacco, and Ivan Chechnik are all out of the game tonight. So they are short. They've got extra D, and that's why Wilson is going to play that system Bill was talking about. Al McGinnis will not play tonight for the St. Louis Blues. Varlamov is out, a tooth injury from this morning's skate. Reed Lowe is the other scratch. Rich Pilon, Scott Young, all out of there as well, as Tyson Nash gets back into the lineup with a broken nose. Jaromir Jagr down the middle. Jagr gets turned into the corner, taken out of the play. Jaromir Jagr has had, when he's on the ice, some very strong games. Jagr on the far side, dropped off and held on to by Brent Johnson. Johnson read that one perfectly and got over there way ahead of even the pass as well as the shot. And
Gonchar was out there instead of Kenny Clee. The defenseman that is the one guy in the 2-1-2 will be high in the zone and will cut a lot of passes. Brent Johnson rode the wave for 10 straight wins and finally lost. He gets back in there tonight. This is the play after Gonchar cut a St. Louis pass, dumped it to Jagr, Jagr to Oates, and a good scoring chance from a sharp angle. Johnson has a win against Washington this year as St. Louis picked up the victory 4-1 in St. Louis on November 3. Johnson played in that game. He is 2-0 in the games he has played against the Caps. Control up to Mellanby on the near side, went by him. Caps will get it back. Both teams concerned tonight about moving the puck into their offensive end. Both are missing key defensemen who play a vital role in getting the puck up ice. Al McGinnis, obviously the one for the Blues. Gonchar, save made, in a screen, kicked out the center. Oh, what a save by Johnson. That was a terrific deflection by Peter Bondra, halfway to the net. And Johnson reacted perfectly. A lot of other games going on. Keeping us updated, John Buccigross. John?
Yeah, 13 other games, Gary. We begin in New York. This is Alexei Yashin. Kind of a slow start recently after a fast start to begin the season. That's one goal, 4:44 in. Mark Parrish made it 2-0. Here's Yashin again, making it 3-0. And then just over a minute later, Cherkasky, Yashin. It's a first period hat trick for Yashin. It's all Islanders early.
Well, I could not come in a more important game than that, with the Islanders and Rangers both battling for a playoff spot. Washington Capitals win the draw and hold it in. Taken down behind the net. Penninger tried to center. It got deflected away by Johnson, who's getting tested early. Off the near side boards, Eric Boganicki playing in just his second game this year, and that's going to be whistled on the offside. Draw will come to center ice. Paul Stewart, Dean Warren are the referees, and there's the goaltender in white tonight, Ole the goalie. When Olaf Kolzig ended up getting his cortisone shot in the ankle a couple of weeks ago, it really turned around what was a bad stretch for Olaf Kolzig, and the folks here in Washington are not used to seeing Olaf Kolzig be average. Yet he really still hasn't put together a solid streak this season. He's trying to do that right now, and he has to pretty well for Washington to be a force down the stretch. Nicolishin wins 56% of the draws, got that one. And the Capitals work up the near side boards, looking for a little room. The rookie Ettinger got it out of there and had it intercepted by Finley, sent in by Nash from the far side. Up the near side wall on the hard dump. They'll try and work from behind the net. Boganicki, a scorer, took the hit on that one, got knocked off the puck. Keep an eye on Boganicki, number 14 in blue for St. Louis. They are hoping in the long term he's going to be a real help to this club. He probably is going to get a couple of games in this time around, but he'll be back. Well, he scored a lot in the American League. That's one of the reasons he got called up. But besides that, at 5'8" and about $193, he is like a wrecking ball out there. Watch him tonight. He is going to bang some people a lot harder than you think he could. St. Louis Blues get the turnover. Tkachuk crisscrossing. Tkachuk heads back into the middle, looking for that return pass. Won't get it when around the net. Pavel Demitra. There's Tkachuk. Tkachuk on the backhand side leaves it for Pronger. Pronger's going to log some ice time tonight. That got deflected away in front before it got to Olaf Kolzig. Cleared up the near side wall and out of there by Colin Forbes. Forbes on the return, got it back to Dallin. Dallin down the middle, pinned up. Rebound shot taken and blocked to the corner by Johnson. Good play, and the opportunity that ended up coming off a couple of bouncing pucks to the side of the net. It'll be played back behind the net. Both teams trying to fly out of the zone here in these long passes. Forbes dropped that one back out to center. Didn't connect. Finley over to get it. Salvador over to get it and cleared it back in. They can fly out of their zone, but flying into the zone, deep in the corners. Man, Scott Mellanby just tried to get a forecheck on. He got hog-tied and taken down. Yes, obstruction is back. I don't care what anybody says, Gary. We've seen it more and more. It's piled up as the season's gone along. Adam Oates in his own end. A bad pass. Center knocked away by Clay. Almost from Mike Keane, who was cutting out in front for the St. Louis Blues. Back off the near side, Havanov. Havanov from the red line. Again, dumps it on the hard around all the way out to Jagr. Jaromir Jagr and Salvador back there with him. That puck all the way around the board. Salvador steps up. That's going to be whistled on the delayed offside call. No, they're going to let her go. Going to let her go. It'll be sent back in. Waved it off. Far side, Ken Klee going over. Klee sent the pick. It got dumped in behind him and have it off to his back to cover it up. You can tell these teams coming out here with some fire and pizzazz in this game because neither wants to see what's been a bad last week or 10 days continue. On the near side boards. Just pushed away by Klee. Held in on the far side and sent it to the corner by Rob Zettler. Salvador and Havidov out there defensively. Backed up to Nash. Nash doesn't get it out. Sylvain Cote. That deflected comes to the near side boards. Cote with a chance as he held that in on the far side. Loose in the corner. Simon doing battle. Chris Simon. Simon was able to free it up. Didn't have anybody there. Havidov just wants to get it out. Shot it all the way from the other dot at the other end. That one had a pretty good arch on it. Head dropped in on Ole the goalie, who's very careful, as all goaltenders are in those kinds of shots. Because sometimes they will really fool you. Looking off the near side boards. Blues right back on the attack. Boganicki behind the net. Boganicki gets tied up. Dropped it off. It was deflected back to Boganicki on the attempted pass by Waite to set up a pick. Waite had it flipped away from him, and it rolls off the boards away from Zettler. Blues get it back. St. Louis clears the zone and sends it in. 5 minutes of continuous play here. Each team has had one shot. That one deflected wide on the attempt by Bondra. Piece of that taken by Mike Van Ryan of the Blues.
Some pretty good jump, though. The Blues have come out flat in their last 3 games. They are not flat right here in Washington. I really believe in this system. For no other reason, you force your athletes to think.
Yep.
They've really got to concentrate on a different kind of system. And you know what? The Caps look pretty sharp with it.
They do. They're handling it pretty well, moving the puck through the middle, which is where Washington likes to clog it up at center ice. If they can get a turnover there and then move it, that's where they try and create their chance. Peter Bondra, 7th in the league in goals with 26. Had it, lost it. St. Louis has got to get back on side, so they drag it back a little. Mike Van Ryan left it on the far side for the dump in by Mellanby. That got blocked by Klee and sent up, not out. Pronger held it in, lost it off the far side. Dasher 3-on-3 with Tkachuk getting back on defense. And coming out this time will be Johnson saying, I'm going to get involved in this game. Leaves it back for Pronger in behind the net. Pronger, 8th among defensemen in scoring and 1st among everybody in ice time. And tonight we'll add to it. Mellanby, that one bounced by him. Mellanby thought he was going to get a run to the net on that. Gonchar near side for the Caps. Back to the red line and dump it in again.
Like a punt that bounced back towards him.
He was all ready to take a one-time shot on that, and it never came up to him. Dallas Drake, 7-goal scorer, out to adheres line. That'll be sent back in behind the net. Olaf Kolzig comes back to play it. Kolzig, 39th in the league in goals against coming into this game. Knocked down Corso. Corso had it blocked. First penalty coming. It'll be against the Washington Capitals. Extra skater out there now for the St. Louis Blues. On the delayed whistle, Mike Keane. Keane trying to move it into the middle. It deflected to Corso. Corso takes it behind the net. Delayed call now. Blues have the extra skater, and there is the whistle. So, after all of that, almost 7 minutes of running time, Paul Stewart with a call. Power play for the Blues when we return. Gonchar goes for slashing at 6:49. That will give the St. Louis Blues the first power play of the game.
Sergei Gonchar, number 55, is the one guy in the 2-1-2. That means he has to drop back down low and help the other 2 defensemen. Time he helped him with a chop. Now St. Louis's power play that will not be and should not be nearly as dangerous without the most dangerous shooter in the game not playing tonight, Al McInnes, out of the lineup.
8th in the league on the power play against the Caps, who are 20th and killing them off. Back to Pronger, his chance. Ole, the goalie off the shoulder. Rebound is finally cleared.
I think he got in the mask area. He actually just took his mask off to look at it.
And he's going to get a whistle because of it. Dean Warren, the referee, standing there next to him. That mask may have been shattered on that shot. They'll check. Saw his head go back and then his shoulder go up, and then as soon as play moved, he moved to get the mask off. Our 10 best all-star moments. Let's start with number 10 and Owen Nolan. He was at the Shark Tank in '97, his home ice. He broke in on Dominik Hasek and signaled where he was going to shoot the goal. And then he did it. Owen Nolan. It completed a hat trick that night that sent the Shark Tank crowd into a frenzy. Owen Nolan, number 10 on our best moments from the All-Star games.
Mask looks like it's all right. I think Olaf Kolzig took it off to check to see if there was any damage. looked like it hit him in the low part of the wiring or right at the base of the mast. It tipped in front. The trajectory of the shot, it looked like might have hit him in the shoulder, but it was deflected right onto the mast.
He is all right. The mask is all right, and the faceoff will come just outside the St. Louis line. Flea has it. On the power play, it's Tkachuk with 10 power play goals, tied for third in the league, who leads the St. Louis Blues. But obviously Al McGinnis, as Bill said, a huge role in that, in the shots that he takes to help set up rebound chances. Tkachuk in the corner was after it. Pavel Demitra there as well, got swept around. Tkachuk tried to get a shot off. Demitra puts it back out on the point. Pronger sends it wide side. Pronger one-timer. That one blocked. Shot that one straight ahead.
And that's one thing that St. Louis has with this power play look that they don't with Al McGinnis. Chris Pronger moves to the right side, and that means he's in one time zone. He one-timed that one, didn't get all of it. But that's one thing St. Louis has that they would not have with Al McGinnis, is a one-time shot from the point.
That's Tkachuk who leaves it. It'll be sent in by Habidoff, but a delayed offside call with Mellenby in on the right. Let's check in again with John Butchergrass. John?
Gary, Toronto 6-8-2-1 since Christmas. Shane Corson, no goals in the last 15 games. The Leafs in Atlanta against the Thrashers, and Corson has a goal. 3-0 Maple Leafs. Meanwhile, Philadelphia, most points in the East. Jeremy Roenick, point number 1,000, fourth American to do it. Housley, Mullen, LaFontaine, the other three.
Congratulations. Boy, we're seeing some records being set this year. Numbers by offensive players piling up. Short-handed opportunity the other way. On the attack, Bondra. Peter Bondra looking into the middle. A shot save. Rebound, Bondra. Batted straight up in the air. The Capitals do not have a short-handed goal this year. Not one. The St. Louis Blues have given up 3. Great chance for one right there by their leading scorer. Goal-wise, Peter Bondra has got 26 goals. Third around the near side boards. Into the corner, loose, trying to get it back out off the near side. Not a lot of shots coming here. Pronger moves over the other way. Through a screen. Stillman was standing right out in front. And a save made by Olaf Kolzig. Power play continues here for the St. Louis Blues. They're down to 5 seconds left on it. Up the half wall, Pavel Demitra. Back out on top, nowhere to go here. Mike Van Ryan, Pronger. Pronger a chance, score! May have been Boganicki.
I think it was.
Who was cutting through the middle, and if it is, he's got his first goal of the year, and this is second game, and it'll be his first NHL goal.
Well, with Chris Pronger's stamina, he was able to stay out there for the whole power play. He just shifted sides. Mike Van Ryan came out. Chris Pronger went to the left side. Here it is. It went Demitra back to Pronger. Boganicki moved to the front. If it didn't hit him, it went off a cap. I'll be surprised if Boganicki doesn't get credit for this goal. Our Southwest Airlines goal cam might show it to us. Going to come from the left. Oh, yeah. Eric Boganicki with a perfect little deflection between the legs of Olaf Kolzig, and the Blues, for a change, score first.
And a 1-0 lead as the power play was over, but just over, when Boganicki got that goal. Now, Jaromir Jagr had gone to the dressing room momentarily. He's back out on the ice now, so perhaps that was an equipment problem that Jagr was having. He's had a knee problem this year, and most recently a groin problem that has kept him out of 13 games. Jagr back in there tonight, and Ron Wilson told us he thinks he's 100% back. Blues looking, shot deflected. Dallas Drake. Drake brought that one out, trying to get it through on the short side, and Kolzig made the save. 1-0 lead on the board. Dumped back in, have it off, and the Blues want to change it up here. Played on the far side and out of the zone by Alf Dahlen. Washington Capitals, this is where they have struggled. When they get that goal against them, they tend to get down because they're having so much trouble keeping the puck out of the net and getting leads. Tkachuk trying to move it back into the middle. Couldn't get there. Up is Nikolic. He'll be the trailer. Bry on the far side. Pettiger was there. Couldn't handle. Mellenby's got it. Mellenby back. Dropped it off. Dahlen is there on the back check and clears it out to Klee. Klee looking back in the middle. Mellenby comes up from behind. Nikolic on the check. Open shot. Save made. Johnson on that one. The defenseman. Sylvain Cote used the screen. Got a good shot off.
And Gary, the only problem with the system that Washington is using is it's real tough to play catch-up hockey if you fall behind, because it's a system that is not geared to scoring. It's geared to shutting teams down.
Geared to trapping people at center. Stillman was cutting into the middle. Stillman out there with Boganicki on this line. Dump back in behind the net. Initial call on the goal is given it to Stillman from Pronger and Van Ryan, but that could be changed. We'll see. In any event, whoever got it, the Blues will take it. It's on the board. They have the 1-0 lead.
Why aren't you at work? You played hockey all day, didn't you?
Well, my agent says if I want to make the NHL, I really need to be focusing on hockey right now.
Your agent? Who's this agent?
Well, it's Duger. All along.
If Duger is your agent, I'm a nuclear physicist.
Hey, your mom was a secretary.
Chris Pronger's shot on the power play, as it turns out, after further review, was tipped at the hash marks by Corey Stillman. And this angle here will show you that it didn't change directions when it got to Eric Boganicki. So Corey Stillman does in fact deserve credit for the goal. And the Blues are on top 1-0. Chris Pronger, though, with his head up the whole way, was looking for a deflection on the shot. Even with a bad wrist, Chris Pronger is going to get another injection in his left wrist, a cortisone injection tomorrow. It has plagued him this entire season.
They don't need that going into the second half. The Blues don't. Stillman's 13th is at 8:51. Pronger and Van Ryan do indeed get the assists on it. This faceoff coming to the left side will be dropped back in behind the net by Andrei Nikolajin. And the Washington Capitals again will be fighting from behind here. They are 14th in offense and 29th in defense in the league.
Tonight, our 10 best all-star moments. We move to number 9. Howie Morenz in 1937, one of the all-time greats, died suddenly of a heart attack while recovering from a broken leg. At the start of the next season, a benefit game was played for him. Two teams from Montreal combined, the Canadiens and the Maroons. They played the rest of the NHL teams and raised $20,000 for the Morenz family. All-star memory number 9 in our 10 best list. The sudden death of Howie Morenz in the subsequent all-star game.
That's how it all started. You can vote too. Just log on ESPN.com or NHL.com and cast your votes, and we'll show you at the end of our broadcast tonight how you voted on our 10 best moments from all-star games. Picked up by Corey Stillman. That'll be dropped back out to center now. Capitals again trying to create these turnovers at center, but then have to do something with it as they are down. Boganicki, we tried to give him that first goal in the NHL, but just couldn't get it through. It'll be played back in behind the net. Caps coming back. Rob Zettler back there. Zettler dropped it. Bondra's got it. Bondra's backhand. Nobody saw it. You can feel the oohs and ahs and hear some boos. I mean, it's an unsettled crowd here in Washington. The expectations with Jágr coming over just have not been met. There he is. Straight down the middle on the drawback. Got around one shot. Save made. Johnson held the short side. 1-0 here. Blues elsewhere. John?
Brad Stewart made it 1-0 San Jose. Alexei Kovalev tied it at 1. Now a 5-on-3 with Mario playing. That's like a 10-on-3. And Kovalev gets his second goal of the game, 20th of the year, 2-1 Pens.
Mario came back. Pens start winning. Friday night, 9 Eastern. Best young players aged 25 and under head-to-head. It's the inaugural NHL Young Stars game at 10 Eastern Friday night. It will be the Super Skills competition. We'll have it for you. ESPN. That's Friday night. Then the All-Star game itself will be at 12 noon Eastern, 12 noon Pacific. Coming your way from Los Angeles. That'll be on ABC on Saturday.
That Young Stars game is going to be great because it's only going to be 4 skaters aside.
A lot of fun. Guys who are really going to get a chance to show off in front of all of the National Hockey League execs. Here's Dimitra taken out by Klee, and I mean that broke the stick. Kachuk trying to center. They all go down in a pile, and the puck rolled away. Anchar moved that one back out to center. Caps changing behind the play here, down 1-0. Move again into the corner. Jágr. Jágr, you saw, squeezed off by 2 defensemen. And Wilson, the coach of the Washington Capitals, telling Bill and I before the game, Ronnie said, you know, it's not Jágr. It's not the problem. Shot deflected, turned away. He created that opportunity for Zubas. Third back up to the point and out. And brought in offside immediately by Witt.
Well, Ronnie Wilson did bring up a good point. He said Jaromir Jágr could have scored way more than he has already, and we'd still be in the same spot because our goals against have been atrocious. I mean, they've lost 6 of the last 7 games, and in the 6 losses, the Capitals have allowed an average of 4 goals a game. Jaromir Jágr would have to do something pretty awesome to offset that.
He would have to really take over and dominate games, and at this point, Ron Wilson saying it's the other guys who have got to come through for us, especially defensively. Cleaning up a little lumber down at the other end on that broken stick we saw earlier. That'll delay the face-off as Paul Stewart gets it off the ice.
Comes Jaromir Jagr earlier. Bryce Salvador just tried to force him wide. Why? Because he knew he had somebody coming back. That somebody was Pavel Demitra. It forced Jagr wide to a sharp angle shot that Johnson just gobbled up. When do you stand up on a player? When you know if you force him wide, you've got somebody else coming back to help you.
When Jagr got the puck, most teams will make sure there are at least two paying very close attention. Jamal Mayers with a big hit against the boards behind the net. Mayers still going at it with Kuchera. Two of them all the way around the boards. Kept it up. Eastwood with it now. Eastwood dropped it back up to Jamal Mayers. Mayers trying to turn, poked away Kuchera. That's Kuchera 4 for Washington doing battle there. Shot deflected to the corner. And Bergevin's chance just went off the near side wall. Mike Bergevin. Bergevin out there playing behind Jeff Finley, the trailer with him. He goes down, takes a cap with him. He tripped, fell down, avoided the check through all of that, but lost the puck. Loose in behind the net to Simon. Up the far side wall to Klee. Ken Klee. He left it back for Simon, who centered. Johnson reached and poked it away. Over to get again is Klee. Klee leaves it back in behind the net. Colin Forbes coming back to get it. We're seeing the Washington Capitals do what they've done for a half a dozen other games because of forwards who are injured. They're playing extra defensemen, and at different times in this game, they'll have 3 defensemen on the ice at the same time. That one shot wide. Rob Zettler along the near side knocked it down. His team offside. He couldn't wait long enough, though, to control. Nice play by Corso to get it off. Blocked into the corner. St. Louis changing it up on the fly here. Slipping along the near side boards. Getting up all right is Danny Corso. Took a pretty nasty spill along the boards. He's got the puck. Corso turning it back in behind the net. Sylvain Cote centering past block. Cote got it back. Cote trying to go into the middle to find a little room here. Pettinger moves it off the near side. Tries to follow it up. Both teams changing in the fly. Johnson saw some room out there and moved out to play it himself.
Ooh.
Just got back in time on a chance from Matt Pettinger. And Johnson was still skating backwards. Wow. Pettinger had the opportunity.
That looked like it was dead center between the posts, too.
Right on him. Boganicki gets his head taken off. Penalty coming. Delayed call. Stillman trying to tip it. Boganicki going to the corner against Witt. And there's the whistle. If Urban Cowboys gets made again, I think Boganicki's got a shot at being one of the cattle. Oh, my.
The dump in by Doug Waite led to this. Clothesline, baby. Eric Boganicki drew the penalty. Down on the play.
Jean-Francois Fortin.
Easy for you to say.
1456. Well, when you're from Maine, you've seen a number of those names that were changed to Fournier and Fortin. Fortin, yep. Off this face-off power play, Pronger a chance, blocked into the crowd, cleared back up but not out. Pronger was able to hold it in. Blues get the second power play. Kachuk dropped it back for Pronger. Good play on the pass. Shot wide. Screen set up by Mellanby in front. Havenoff working a point. Again, if you joined us late, Al McGinnis is out of the game with an injury, foot injury that's keeping him out tonight. So Bill said they will miss him on the power play. Pronger again through a screen but wide. Kachuk back to get it. Kachuk working from behind the net and in that slot area. That one intercepted. Dennis Zubris out there in defense, cleared up. Good job on top defensively, Nikolition and Zubris. Power play down to 1:19 left to go for the Blues. They've got the 1-0 lead on a goal that came at the end of a power play by Stillman just seconds after it had ended. Near side Caps looking to clear, get it out of there. Pronger was covering and lost it. Could it be their first short-handed goal of the year? Colin Forbes! Yes!
Yeah, baby. Exactly what the Capitals needed. Chris Pronger went right to the boards, right to the bench, and sat down because he was the guy that was victimized by Colin Forbes. The wheels are turning right there. You can see on the face of Chris Pronger. Forbes there. Puck came right to him. I don't know how Chris Pronger misplayed that, but look, the puck laid down for Colin Forbes the whole way. Looked like at first he went 5-hole. There it is. It just jumped over Pronger's stick. I still don't know if that was 5-0. I think it went between his stick and the right pad of Brent Johnson, but it has tied the game at 1.
Colin Forbes gets the first short-handed goal they've had in 11 months. The last one came on March 6th of last year, and it ties this game up. Power play still has 44 seconds left on it for the Blues, but Bondra puts the hit on, got the puck and cleared it out. That fired up the Washington Capitals. Game tied at 1-1, 3:38 to go in the period. Power play with 30 seconds left. Van Ryan takes the hit. Van Ryan got taken out by Whitten, came away with a puck. Good play by Van Ryan. Got it back to Stillman. Stillman dropped it near side. Pavel Demitra will move up into the corner. Demitra takes the hit there, and it knocked away by Nikolic, and it's cleared. One more chance for St. Louis to get it up ice. He'll have to hurry with only 9 left on the advantage. The short-handed goal coming at 15:53. Forbes' second goal of the year. Bondra and Kuchera pick up the assists on it. In the corner, Zubris. Power play is over. Pavel Demitra, we're back to 5-on-5 hockey. And tied up in a short-handed, almost tipped, but deflected to the near side. Good opportunity by Dallas Drake. Down low, backhand chance, looking Waite, trying to get it into the middle. Boganicki standing out in front of the net, shot, never got there for the deflection. 2 St. Louis Blues out in front of the goaltender. Shot back in wide as Washington wanted to change it up, so just the hard dump in by Fortin from center. Out with the puck. St. Louis wants a line change, they'll get it done right here. Big pileup over there in front of the benches and the change. Kuchera's got it. And they get the units out there that they wanted. Cleared back to center by Todd Roloff, who lost it. Sent back into the zone, chased by Mike Keane of the Blues. Keane had it against the wall, reached back, couldn't get it. Oates, leading assist man, one of the great assist men of all time, with Yager, dropped it. Defenseman shot saved by Johnson. Kuchera with the opportunity. 1-1 game with 2:02 to go, and our 10 best All-Star moments at number 8. The 86 All-Star game at the Hartford Civic Center. It would be Wayne Gretzky who would start it with 2:51 left to even the score up. Then it would be Brian Propp on a power play. 43 seconds, Dale Hawerchuk OT, and then Mike Bossy and Brian Trottier combined to beat Andy Moe to give the Wales Conference a 4-3 triumph. It was guns a-blazing at the All-Star game in 86. Off the draw. It sits right there on the dot. Pronger will take it back in behind the net. Both these teams coming off losses. The Caps lost 3-2 against Buffalo Sunday. St. Louis was shut out by Anaheim on Monday. 1-0. That's going to be whistled on an offside call. John Butchergrass.
Thanks, Gary. Devils and Blackhawks. Jim McKenzie made it 1-0. Phil Housley tied the game at 1. That's Sergei Brylin giving the Devils a 2-1 lead. They won Kevin Constantine's debut last night as coach. Now they're up 3-1.
Our Dodge Intermission report upcoming. John will have SportsCenter in game. Who's it going to be for the Super and the All-Star additions as we head into the weekend on our Dodge Intermission report? Number of players last couple of days have been injured who are going to go to the All-Star game and being replaced for that game. Mario Lemieux looks as though he's going to be in top form for the All-Star game in the Olympics. Off the face-off, came right in on Johnson. Got it back out to center. Washington Capitals fired up by their short-handed goal. Pronger back to get it. Pronger off the glass. Forbes had a piece, couldn't control. Sent back near side. Jamal Mayers. Mayers does it in. Fortin coming back to get it to Forbes. Forbes takes the hit. Puck sitting there. A little help from Klee. Klee jammed it away, but not out of the zone yet. Jamal Mayers held it in. Good play by Mayers over to Nash. Nash gets stood up along the far side wall. Fortin, the 22-year-old, putting that hit on. He's a rookie. Fortin playing in just his 10th game of the year. Got some size, though. Number 58 out there for the Caps in white. Moving through center, Nikolic. Nikolic. Forbes is on in front of the net. Nikolic had to go to the corner. Taken out of the play by Jeff Finley. 1 minute left to go here in the first period. And it's been wide open. Shots are 10-5 in favor of the Caps. Each team has been able to put one home. Touched up on the icing call.
Colin Forbes, good checker, and has paid dividends offensively for the Caps here in this tilt. Second goal of the season. He's a free agent, not doing very much, having been with the Rangers organization. Signed by the Caps, brought in. Decent checker when he scores, it's a bonus. This was the bonus. Chris Pronger didn't have much of an angle on that either. I mean, it was awkward the way the puck came to him, facing the wrong way. When the puck took a hop, Colin Forbes could afford to take that gamble, because even if he missed it, there were guys inside the blue line, and Chris Pronger would not have been able to dump it in. So that's when you gamble as a penalty killer.
Perfect time, and he made it work. Back the other way is Tkachuk. Tkachuk's got a step. Save made. Pulls it. Rebound went right across the top of the crease. Tkachuk had some room on that one. Zuber's coming the other way. Jaromir Jagr, 30 seconds to go in the period. There's Tkachuk on the far side. Leads this team along with Dimitra with 53 points each. But Tkachuk, their leading goal scorer, has picked up 27 goals on the year and had a chance on that one. He had a half a step. Havanov drops it off. Blues ranking it back in their own end. Intercepted at center by Kuchera. Kuchera will send it back a little bit as we've got 5 seconds left to go, and that's going to be the period. 8:51. Stillman got his 13th. Pronger and Van Ryan. 15:53. Shorthanded. Forbes got his second from Bondra and Kuchera. That has tied this game up. Forbes celebrating the Capitals' first shorthanded goal of the year. 1-1.
Jawing back and forth across the faceoff circle with Stephen Pete. I repeat, Stephen Pete.
Beat that. Pete is a fighter. He played one shift in the first period. Nash just went over there to try and find him. Pronger takes it back in behind the net without McGinnis. Pronger went 8.5 minutes in that first period. Jamal Mayers had it tipped away before he could get it in the zone, then got taken down by Kuchera on the far side. Knocked away by Eastwood. Jagr got it. Jaromir Jagr ships it out of there. We've got a 1-1 game. 11-6 the shots in favor of the Capitals here as we start this period. And the attempted centering pass got blocked. Good play by Van Ryan, the 22-year-old rookie who played it back into the corner. Had to come back to get it. Swung it up the boards, blocked by Gonchar, and that'll go onto the bench. And we'll get a whistle. Let's take a look at our Visa storyline here on Wednesday Night Hockey, presented by Nextel. St. Louis 19-2, 1-1 when scoring first. They did that here. The Washington Capitals' first shorthanded goal of the year and the first in a year.
Our Visa replays will show you the offense from the first period. The Blues struck first on a power play. Looked like Boganicki, wasn't. Stillman. Then shorthanded. Colin Forbes for Washington. 5-hole goal on Brent Johnson. Our Visa storyline. 1-1 game.
Off the face-off, it'll be played. Through center by Jamal Mayers, had it tipped away by Pavel Dimitrov and into the seats.
Well, the Blues in their 10-game winning streak really continued something that has been a positive all season long, and that is the chemistry between Pavel Dimitrov and Keith Tkachuk. You have to wonder where the Blues would be this season if Dimitrov hadn't turned out to be a heck of a centerman, because he is a right winger by trade. The Blues came into this season without a bona fide second-line center. Pavel Dimitrov filled that hole and more for St. Louis.
He's having an outstanding offensive season. Pavel Dimitrov is. Coming into this game, he was tied for fourth in points with 53 in the lead. Brought back in and wide on Johnson, who watched that one tear wide. Salvador behind the net. Didn't see the check coming from Zubris. Stood him up along the boards. Tkachuk drops it off. Havanov on defense. Havanov with Mellenby cutting in front of him. Left it. Pavel Dimitrov to Tkachuk, who tipped it high. Great setup. Didn't have a lot of room. Fortin came in and put the late hit on, but Tkachuk had an opportunity. Not a good angle, and his deflection went up and over the net. Zubris trying to jam it in the near side. Had it blocked by Salvador. Still on the blue line. Tkachuk backhand pass. Cleared in by Boganicki. And both teams will change it up on the fly here. Washington back into the middle for Zubris, who is hanging at the red. This one's going to be touched up at the far end. Finley over there, and it will be an icing call. Saturday, ABC Sports will present the 52nd annual NHL All-Star Game, presented by Nextel, the world's best players, showcasing their skills as North America takes on the world. The festivities begin at 3 Eastern and noon Pacific. For more, log on to ESPN.com. We'll see you there.
Terrific offensive play here by the Blues. The pass from Dimitrov ended up in Tkachuk's skates, and that's why he ended up pulling it, shooting it wide. Keith Tkachuk has to try to keep a fire lit under Pavel Dimitrov. Dimitrov's not as fiery as he needs to be game in and game out. The right guy is playing with him, because Keith Tkachuk doesn't let anybody slide on his line.
Faceoff comes up the near side boards, and through center. Klee had it. Poke checked away from him by Boganicki to Stillman. Stillman trying to dump it in. The glove goes flying on the ice out there. Pass back the other way got deflected by Bergevin, who couldn't control. Klee's shot blocked into the corner. Good play by Finley. Finley put the stick up in the air, knocked it down. Stillman on the nice tip pass, got it out to Waite. Waite. He'll tip it into the corner. Boganicki the intended on it. Boganicki goes to the boards. Lost control. Sets a screen. Heads to the front of the net. Boganicki played well. There he is on the tip in front. And actually went through. Ended up going off the outside of the net.
What the guys are learning real quick when they go up against Boganicki, he's got a really low center of gravity. Very compact and really strong in his skates.
Can't take him off the puck. He is a scorer. I mean, Boganicki called up, leads the American Hockey League in goals with 31, in points with 65, and second in assists with 34 for Eric Boganicki. And he's only been up here for a few days, so he still leads the American Hockey League in those categories.
He played high school hockey and college hockey with Larry Plough's son Steve. Larry Plough's the GM of the St. Louis Blues, so Larry got to see him play. So all he did when he took over as GM of the St. Louis Blues, Larry Plough, he let Eric Boganicki go from the organization, but he admitted last week that that had been a mistake. Eric Boganicki having a heck of a season in the American League in Worcester, Mass. And here he is with the Blues on a couple of game look-see.
Defensively, Van Ryan on the near side intended for Pronger. Couldn't get to it, had to cover up. Cleared out of there by Corso. And Corso got it out. Nicolaisen with a hit. Took his man down, and the puck taken back behind the net by Roloff. Roloff out of Minnesota Duluth, where he played his college hockey. Hit on the far side by Corso. Will be sent back to Pronger, trying to spread it out a little bit. Guns it in. Had to get that on net to avoid an icing call, and did. It was knocked away by Olaf Kolzig. Centering pass, bounced up in the air. Dallas Drake was set up in front of the net. Drake comes to the near side for the Blues. Held it in. Gonchar swept it around the far side porch. Loose over there, and it'll be moved out by the Caps. 16:37 left to go here in the second period. Game tied at 1-1. Icing call coming up, maybe, maybe not. Mellanby went back. Fine play by Scott Mellanby to get that puck. Tkachuk behind the net. Good use of the body. Protecting it. Centered shot. Score! Dimitra! I want to tell you, folks, you got three guys out there who earned a point on that play. Dimitra will get the goal, and it's 2-1 Blues.
No kidding. Scott Mellanby first, then Keith Tkachuk. Oh, man. It looked like this was going to be a sure icing until Scott Mellanby outlegged his guy. And then look at the job behind the net that Tkachuk will do on Forte. He just wasted him. Then he cut it back, bumped it out front to Pavel Dimitra. And just like that, the Blues have taken a 2-1 lead. This is hard work. The intensity that has been missing from the St. Louis Blues lineup in their last three outings is definitely here in this period.
Here's Tkachuk. Back Tkachuk shot. Save made and covered by Kolzig. Capitals got caught with their head down after that goal and almost gave up another.
What a powerful man, Keith Tkachuk. He powered his way to an assist on the second goal just moments ago. Here he is cutting in, going for the 6-hole, which is right through the goalie's body. And to our knowledge, nobody has ever scored through the 6-hole. All right, he might have been going for under the arm. Olaf Kolzig there. Therein lies the difficulty when you go in and you don't have room to deke. Olaf Kolzig is a mountain, and there's no room to shoot.
Olaf Kolzig has had a troublesome year for this team. The Vezina winner in 2000. He's 39th in the league. 39th in goals against in the National Hockey League. That's not where he wants to be. Van Ryan winds up blasted and hits some folks out in front. Tkachuk still got it. Drops it off. Van Ryan kicked it into the corner. His centering pass went off skates and out of the center. You look at some of the goaltenders, big names, and where they are in goals against. Kolzig's one of them at 39. Mike Richter, 37. Arthur Zerbe, 40th. Belfort, 35th in goals against for some of the biggest names in the game.
Tonight, our 10 best is the 10 best all-star moments. We move to number 6. Boston, the Fleet Center, 1996. It looked like the Eastern Conference was going to let a 4-1 lead slip completely away. They did that, but Ray Bourque, another heroic moment. With 37.3 seconds left in regulation, he won it for the Eastern Conference all-star team. That was good enough for MVP of the 1996 All-Star Game.
Raymond Bourque, now a fan. He always was. Now he doesn't go out there and cheer his own guys on. Right back in the far side. You can vote ESPN.com, NHL.com. We'll give you the numbers at the end of the night. Stillman holds it in. 2-1 lead on Dimitri's 24th. 3:40 of this period. Mellenby and Tkachuk picking up the assists. As this line for the St. Louis Blues has been outstanding tonight. Boganicki taken out by Gonchar. He got it back into the corner. Battle along the wall there with Doug Waite. Dropped it back. Defenseman cutting and tipped. Van Ryan. There's a name to keep an eye on. As this kid played well. Mike Van Ryan, the 22-year-old rookie, deflected into the glove and held on to. And that's where that will end. Let's check in again with John Buccigross. John?
Gary, this is Bill Guerin's 114th game as a Bruin. He now has 68 goals. He's the unrestricted free agent to be. You wonder why he would leave. 3-1 Bs, 28 for Guerin, second behind Iginla.
Boston Bruins, just maybe. Best way to follow the action of every NHL game. It's NHL Gamecast, providing you with live scoring, shot charts, and game stats. ESPN.com and NHL.com will get you there.
So what do the Bruins do with Billy Guerin? They've got two options: trade him or sign him.
Sign him.
Got to.
Got to sign him. It's his home city. He's motivated to play there.
I agree.
I don't think ever play better than he would play in Boston as far as the team. And boy, it sure is very. And a lot of that may depend, Bill, on how far they go in the playoffs, because that's a lot of extra dollars, millions of dollars per game.
But what happens, I mean, once you wait till the playoffs, you can't trade him then.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You've lost any value in the trade market, so the decision has to be made by March.
Keep him.
I agree.
I think you keep him. Up ice, puck loose. Nash came over and put the hit on. Blues get it back. Again, we remind you the Washington Capitals playing with 8 defensemen tonight, and all 8 are playing. And for about the 6th time this year, Wilson will have 3 defensemen out there at a time in 5-on-5 situations. Oops. And a little battle with Salvador, who didn't like the fact that the Capitals went after the goaltender. And that ensues with Chris Simon.
Big Chris Simon. Bryce, oh, look at this. Bryce Salvador did the smart thing. He tried to avenge the hit on Brent Johnson, but he didn't go toe-to-toe throwing punches with Chris Simon, which is a pretty wise move. And there was an arm up. I think there was a call coming on Simon anyway.
Well, that'll earn some kudos right there for Salvador from his teammates, because the hit put on the goaltender Johnson. He stood up for him. You got to do that. Want to remind you, coming up, Sports Center, Steve Young, Emmett Smith, the breakdown of the Super Bowl, the question of the night, Drew Bledsoe's future. And the spotlight is about rivalry week, all coming up on Sports Center.
Brent Johnson had gone behind the St. Louis goal to play the puck, and the big freight train named Chris Simon caught him right in the chin with a shoulder. Then Bryce Salvador gave him a couple of why-I-oughtas. When he was Bryce Salvador, I mean, it looked like he was just sort of fulfilling the obligation there. Just what you got to do, just let somebody know. Doug Waite made a great move moments ago at the blue line, then came back in, watch another one between the stick and the body, then just shot it up wide. He was making those moves on Frank Kuchera. Doug Waite has picked it up for the St. Louis Blues. A lot of things have turned around for the Blues in that 10-game winning streak that weren't working earlier. Brent Johnson became their #1 guy. Doug Waite started to produce. Keith Tkachuk got on a big tear. Pavel Demitra continued to produce. Scott Mellenby started to put up numbers. But still, you got to think that the St. Louis Blues will be looking for a goalie, and that is not a slight to Brent Johnson. It is just that they have one game started in the playoffs between them, Johnson and Brathwaite. We're going back to the goal that St. Louis scored. Watch Keith Tkachuk here. You don't think he isn't a powerful man? Jean-Francois Fortin got bumped off the puck, lost his stick in the process, and that's what gave Tkachuk time to make the play to Demitra.
These two guys have a chance at a scoring title. Tkachuk and Demitra came in tied for 4th in the league in scoring. The St. Louis Blues have never had a leading scorer in the league. Hull was the closest in '91. He finished 2nd. They've got a shot at it this year. All right, the penalties here. Salvador and Simon, 5 for fighting, and Simon gets 2 for goaltender interference in addition. So the power play will go to the St. Louis Blues, who already have a 2-1 lead. Blues 0 for 2 in the power play tonight with a couple of shots. Get their 3rd chance at it here. So the St. Louis power play is back out on the ice. They are first at home in power play goals, but 28th on the road. St. Louis has scored 30 power play goals at home and 12 on the road. They get a chance to add to that road total right here. They will have Pronger working one of the points. They got Tkachuk, Mellenby down low. They'll look for Pronger in the off post now. Pronger's dropped way down low. Look to tip right there. That's Pronger, the defenseman, standing in front of the net. Mellenby gets knocked down as he fanned on the shot.
Oh, did he pay for it? Brendan Witt took him out and just drilled him twice.
Doug Waite working a power play point at times, trying to find a way straight down the middle. Now they'll spread it out a little bit here. Waite takes it to the half boards. Nobody in front of the net as they move it out to Pronger, who's open. A chance. That one blocked to the near side by Zubras. Up to the blue line, not out. Waite able to hold it in. Power play's got under a minute left on it. Tkachuk takes it in the corner. Tkachuk back up to Pronger again. Pronger fakes, got his man down. Takes it, deflected off a skate. Down to the near side boards. Waite stepped up, looked for it. Capitals have a short-handed goal here tonight, their first of the year. They won't get a chance on this rush. Pronger will come back in behind the net.
What a great hack and whack battle that went on that whole time. St. Louis had the puck in the offensive zone between Scott Mellenby and Brendan Witt of the Caps.
A couple of heavyweights. Stillman drops it back to Pronger. Pronger, now they got a screen in front. Shot deflected to the corner by Boganicki, who set that screen up. Stillman's in front with Boganicki now. Some real battles going on in front of Olaf Kolzig. Cleared back out to center. Pronger back to get it. Capitals penalty killing unit, which is ranked 20th, doing a good job right here. Down low, shot, save made. Rebound, Kolzig will haul it in. Two chances, Stillman followed it up. Kolzig held his ground. Power play's got 7 left on it when we come back after we check in with John Buccigross.
Thanks, Gary. We showed you Jeremy Roenick's 1,000th NHL point. That made it 1-0 Flyers. Ottawa on the power play. They put their defensemen, Zdeno Chara, tallest man in the history of hockey, in front of net on power plays, and it works. 1-1.
Against the tough Flyers team that right now is 12 points ahead of the Islanders in second place in their division.
Dan Corso with a good scoring chance right there. Olaf Kolzig waited for him to try to beat him through the 5-hole and then just took it away. Game's heating up in the physical sense, I'll tell you that. But Washington, they don't match up that well against the St. Louis Blues. Brendan Witt is the one guy that's big enough and strong enough to try to play against Keith Tkachuk. But other than that, they just don't match up that well against big men.
Corso out there to take it against Oates, drawn right back at his own netminder. Oates is 57% in face-off wins this year. In the corner, cleared up by Witt, bouncing off bodies. Jaromir Jagr had it. Jagr dropped it back down low. Brendan Witt. Jagr set up in front. We've not heard much from Jagr here, especially in the second period. Cleared back out. Havanoff knocked it down.
And you won't hear much from Jaromir Jagr when the play is in his end.
And that's where it's been too much for the Washington Capitals' sake. Fortin chasing down in behind the net on the touch, and that will be an icing call. Great to have you with us. Wednesday night hockey presented by Nextel from the nation's capital, where the St. Louis Blues lead the Caps 2-1. Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and our crew back with you here in Washington. Face-off, Adam Oates again was out there to take it. Got tied up by Mike Eastwood. Two very good face-off men right there. Eastwood will take most of the big draws. 54% winner for the St. Louis Blues. That'll be whistled with a draw to center.
Tyson Nash doesn't have to stir anything up. His guys have the lead here. What he's got to do is make sure he stays out of the penalty box. Play it smart. St. Louis Blues have come out here with an effort tonight that hasn't been around for the last 3 games. They come in having lost their last 3 after winning 10 straight. Believe it or not, they're not the first team to go on a 3-game skid after a 10-game winning streak.
I was just amazed. We've got a number about that we had that in the history of the National Hockey League, there have only been 3 other teams that have won 10 games and then have a losing streak of 3 games or more immediately following. 3 times in NHL history. I mean, that's one of those things that just kind of baffles you a little bit, because the odds are you'd think that would have happened a lot more than that. But Bill had the right question. How many teams have won 10 games in a row? I said 3. Center down low, tip just wide. Big opportunity. Oates was waiting in front of the net as the Blues had not cleared the zone, and Adam Oates was right where he needed to be. Oates, the 39-year-old, tied for 11th in scoring. We said one of the great assist men of all time. He gets down low. He can tip it as well. Blues find a little break. Kachuk moving in. Kachuk backhander. And save made by Olaf Kolzig. Kolzig with an enormous save to keep the lead of the Blues at 1. That's a wow.
What a great save by Kolzig. I mean, this is a... Watch this. Jaromir Jagr decided to go wide, make a play, and the Blues come roaring back with a quick up to the side here. Watch how quickly they transition with Keith Kachuk. Now, this time he got his shoulder in front of the defender, so he was able to pull it wide, but he wasn't able or chose not to get the puck into the air from our Southwest Airlines goal cam. You will see that that long reach of the left pad of Olaf Kolzig just ate up all of the ice down low. So hard to beat Olaf Kolzig low. For that matter, most goalies, you think you got him beat low. If you can just have a little light that goes off in your head before you shoot on the backhand that says lift, 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 you got a way better chance of scoring.
Kolzig in his 12th consecutive start and his 49th game of the year. Touched up, icing call. Chicago Stadium. Talk about great moments in All-Star history. Wayne Mesmer singing. The best national anthem singer in the history of the world. Wayne Mesmer, Chicago Stadium with the Desert Storm backdrop. Shot deflected wide. I still get chills.
1991.
I took my daughter there, Bill, who's a hockey fan and player herself, for one reason only. I said, you're going to Chicago Stadium and you're going to hear the national anthem there. Period. I don't care if you want to see the game or not, but you're going to hear that one. Because it was every time it was a moment. Mellanby backing away. Keith Kachuk, the opportunity, backhand side. Ole the goalie, not this time. It stays 2-1. Coming up, our Southwest Intermission report, Super Bowl report. More about Mike Tyson's problems. Will all be during our second intermission.
Which one?
Which Tyson or which problem?
Behavioral or legal?
They kind of combine.
No kidding. It's tough to separate them with him.
Pronger sends that one in. We're midway through this game. 13-11 the shots in favor of the Blues, who have the 2-1 lead. Gachera on the far side, back into the middle. This is what the Caps worry about each game, getting that puck out of there with their many injuries. Someone to headman it, get it up. Not been easy. Pretty good hit along the boards, behind the net. Attempted out, doesn't go. Chance just wide of the net by Roloff. And a whistle. And a penalty coming in front of the net on the St. Louis Blues. Paul Stewart's got a holding the stick call, and I take it back. I thought it was on the Blues, but it's Gonchar. Wow. Sorry.
I mean, you'd think that Washington would end up in a power play sooner or later. The only 2 power plays in the first period went against Ron Wilson and the Washington Caps. Here they are facing power play number 3. St. Louis's first goal, even without Al McInnes, came on the power play.
Simon's still in there, serving the 5 for fighting. But Gonchar goes for holding the stick. It was away from the puck in front of the net. 10:38 in the 4th power play of the game for the Blues.
Right in the face-off circle. Oh, you got to be kidding. It got stuck in his skate. Paul Stewart could not have seen that. I think he went on circumstantial evidence. He must have turned around just as the stick was flying out of the Blues player's hand. I don't even know whose stick it was. But the stick blade got caught in the skate.
And the stick went flying, but it wasn't because it had been pulled or held.
I'll tell you what, if Sergei Gonchar can do that intentionally, he should join the circus.
Dropped off, Kachuk in, shot, save made, deflected. So the penalty killing unit back out there again. Kachuk sends it around. Pronger moves to the middle. Nobody on that far side point. Pronger working with Doug Waite on this power play on the point. That's going to be a 2-liner. And will be touched up back in behind the net on an icing call even. Face-off coming back the other way.
Chris Pronger not only has a problem with his left wrist, and it's a cartilage problem that will require surgery at the end of the season. He told me this morning he's got the same kind of problem, but not as severe on the right wrist. I asked him if the left wrist, you know, some days didn't hurt, other days did hurt. He said no. Some days it hurts, and some days it hurts more. Here is Chris Pronger trying for a long transitional pass to get that counterattack going, but it bounced over his stick. Well, I tell you what, between Chris Pronger and Al MacInnis, when Al MacInnis is in the lineup, no team can boast those long up ice passes that these two guys have. No team has two players that can do it with as much skill and regularity as Pronger and MacInnis. In St. Louis's whole game is move the puck up ice as quickly as you can.
Mellanby took Zubrus down along the near side boards, got away with it. Dimitri out in front. Score! Roof it, baby! Oh, man, what a shot by Pavel Dimitri, and a 3-1 Blues lead.
Tough pill for Sergei Gonchar to swallow coming out of the penalty box after he was sent off for a call that never should have been made. But that won't take away from the skill level that you'll see on this replay. Watch what Dimitri does. He waits for Kozak to get down, to stay down. Nobody moved to Pavel Dimitri, so he had time to stick handle once, twice, then a third time. He just put it to the shelf, baby, right upstairs. How often do you have that much time on a power play or otherwise in the NHL? Not much. That was way too much time for Pavel Dimitri, and Kozak just ran out of time.
So Pavel Dimitri makes it a 3-1 game, and the Washington Capitals, 2-goal differential now. Jaromir Jagr back out on the ice, lost it against the boards, played out by Stillman. Stillman will send it up. That was a power play goal. Everybody avoiding each other. Boganicki went by to avoid the check. Gonchar was able to pick it up.
I think Al MacInnis is downstairs watching the game on the monitor, or is he in the stands? Al, if you're listening, they don't miss you one damn bit in the power play. Just thought I'd pass that along to you, at least not tonight.
He's up here.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Probably watching it up here.
He knows what I'm telling him already. We said when this game started that their power play, St. Louis, would probably be hurt because one of the great power play artists in the history of the game is not in the lineup for St. Louis. What do? They go out and go 2 for 3.
Pretty good shot right there to help that one along. 15-11 the shots now in favor of the St. Louis Blues, held up by Johnson behind the net. Dimitri has 2 goals, his 24th and 25th. Tkachuk and Mellanby, the assists on both of them in that order. One even strength, one on a power play. Dallas Drake drops it behind the net, played by Corso. Back to Drake. Drake tied up already by Cleese. Moved back up to the near side point. Salvador held it in. Corso, nice drop pass. Looking into the middle of Keane. Keane lost control off the boards. This is not a power play, but Washington needs some spark right now. That's why it looks like this. Chasing the puck a little bit. That one bounced off the back of the net. Caps move it up to the point over Salvador's stick and out to center. Blues send it back in. That'll be an offside call. 3-1 here. Let's see what John's got for us. John Buccigross.
Thank you, Gary. We're going bonkers. Flyers and Senators, Radek bonk, curling, after he gets the feed from McEachern and he finds Marian Hossa. A big goal late makes it 2-1, so the Flyers got to pull Brian Boucher. They do that, and Todd White takes advantage. He scores where there's no goalie. 3-1, Sens beat the Flyers.
They haven't lost many.
Who's that, Ottawa?
Philadelphia.
No, Philadelphia sure hasn't. Ottawa's still a tough team. Pavel Dimitri has put the Washington Capitals in a hole. They're playing 2-1-2 system that features 3 defensemen on the ice at all times.
Last point save.
Not the best system to play comeback hockey with. So Ronnie Wilson, I got a feeling he's going to have to mix it up, even if he's short up front because of the way he put his lineup together. And he put this lineup together, yes, partly due to some injuries, but mostly due to trying to get back to what this team's personality is supposed to be. Their owner, Ted Leonsis, said it best. He said, we've lost our personality. When you thought of the Washington Caps, you thought of Olaf Kozak and a great defensive team in front of him. That has hardly been the case this season. This team is next to last defensively in the NHL, and as a result, I agree with their owner. They have lost their personality.
That D has been dropping, Bill. They were 4th in the NHL in defense. Here's a break-in chance to extend it. Score! Eastwood! Mike Eastwood on a backhand chance. And the defensive woes continues for a Capital team that has dropped defensively over the last 4 years each year. It is now a 4-1 Blues lead.
Remember, we showed you the pass on the power play that Chris Pronger backfired on. It was long. It was over a guy's stick. He can make them, baby. This was a short one. The great players will come back and try another good play and make it. It's exactly what Pronger did to Eastwood. Olaf Kolzig bought into the deke here. Kolzig threw out the right pad and opened up some 5-hole. It looked like Kolzig was banking on Eastwood going wide and trying to beat him wide, but as soon as Kolzig stuck out the pad, Mike Eastwood found daylight for a 4-1 lead.
The shots are 10-2 in this period in favor of the St. Louis Blues. They've extended their lead to 4-1 here in this period. And the Washington Capitals' woes continue. And through all of this, what we were talking about earlier, there you see Jaromir Jagr. You don't see anything of Jaromir Jagr, because they're playing so much of the game in their defensive end.
Now they've got 3 forwards out there, Nikolic, Zubris, and Jagr. I mean, with the score the way it is, they have to. They got to abandon their system.
Got to try and get some goals. Save made by Johnson. Rising puck. He had it, and we'll hang on to it.
No pressure now for Brent Johnson.
Just have some fun. Take a look at the goals scored here for Eastwood, his third. Pronger, Van Ryan get the assist. Eastwood. The 7-year, $77 million deal would lead this club not only into the playoffs, but deep into the playoffs. They're in a position right now where they're not going to make the playoffs. Gonchar's chance got blocked out deep. He gets it back. Left it. Shot wide of the net by Adamots. Played by Boganicki on the far side and out. Gonchar lost it. And the fans are clearly upset here about it. We've shown you some of the signs they've brought here. There's booing, and you can feel the general unrest, if you will, in this crowd, which is not particularly large here tonight.
They expected to take such a step forward this year to build on what they had going last year during the regular season. It all crashed and burned, at least so far.
And they've got time to get back in it with 28 games to go.
Sure they do, but they're still missing some key guys that will not be coming back, namely Kalle Johansson and Steve Konowalchuk. But that said, those are good two-way players, good defensive players. You've got to make it somehow.
Good play by Johnson. Came right straight into the pads, and a 2-on-1 chance the other way. Not quite. Kuchera got back and was able to knock it away. Washington Capitals getting a little more offensive here with the 3 forwards. Oakes trying to tip it towards the net, but it went to the corner. Stillman's got it for the Blues and cleared it out.
As they've given up 3 breakaways playing their other system, which is supposed to be airtight defensively. Watch out for more breakdowns now that they've got 3 forwards out there.
Backhanded through the middle by Simon. Played by Tkachuk. Into the middle. Dimitro's got 2 goals, looking for the hat trick tonight. Mellanby was over. Partially blocked the Witt attempt to get it out of there. Caps will try it again. It comes to center to Havanoff. Washington's defense, highest number of goals given up per game that they've had since the 93-94 season. 3.05 a game. They give up more here. We got plenty of time in this with over 4 minutes left to go in the second period of this game. Forbes moving it up. It's after they scored the first goal of this one. Came back to tie it rather on a shorthanded goal after the Blues had gotten one. Corso moves it the other way. Corso waiting for some help. Blues changing behind the play on the blue line, held in by Dallas Drake. Far side, Mike Keane over to get it. Keane knocked off the puck. Simon came in, picked it up, cleared it out, got hit by Drake. Tried to clear it up, never got it to him. Goals 3, at least behind the net. Kuchera came back again. Corso's right there with him. Picked up by Colin Forbes. Forbes with Keane on his back lost it. Gonchar's got it. Gonchar got it back into the middle. Stephen Peet, 21-year-old who hasn't played very much here, out now on the line. You'll get some more time as the forwards play. Keane a chance, blocked, rolled in wide of the net, and Kolzig will hang on to it.
Our 10 best tonight, the 10 best all-star moments. We are down to number 4. Believe it or not, in his first 3 NHL All-Star games, Wayne Gretzky only scored 1 goal, and through the first 2 periods in 1983 at the Nassau Coliseum, he had yet to score. The 3rd period, he took over. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals in the 3rd period, an All-Star game record not only for a period, but for a game as well. He ended up being the MVP in 1983. The Campbell Conference team upended the Wales Conference 9-3. Just another in the long list of Wayne Gretzky accomplishments.
There's Joe Quenneville of the Blues. Wants to move his team out of that number 5 spot they're in to that 4 spot at least when they get to playoff time. Had him on a big run with that 10-game win streak, and his question remains, as Bill mentioned earlier, that goaltender situation for them with Brent Johnson and Fred Brathwaite, the 2 netminders, neither of whom have ever won a playoff game. That one deflected on a chance by Witt. Moved back up on the far side wall by Finley, but not out. His attempt did go to center this time. Take down Nick Delicia's got the puck. Power play coming. It'll be for Washington, a delayed whistle. Extra skater out on the ice for the Caps. Fortin was back to play it, waited for that extra skater, intercepted, cleared by Bergevin, but they didn't control it. Control of the puck by the opposing teams necessary, and there it is right there by the goaltender Johnson. Well, Washington down 4-1 will get the chance they needed on a power play here.
Now's the time.
Number 9 at St. Louis, minor penalty holding.
We talked about Tyson Nash staying out of the penalty box. Tyson wasn't tuned in. He must have been in a commercial break, his own commercial break. Good play by Dinah Zubris there to make sure that that infraction was spotted without picking up an unsportsmanlike for a dive himself. So Tyson Nash is off. Washington has to score here at the end of the second to get back in this. St. Louis Blues will not cough up a 4-1 lead in the third.
First power play of the game. It's the first power play Washington's had since the middle of the second period against the Rangers on Saturday. They did not have a power play Sunday against Buffalo, and this is the first one they've had tonight. That's a long dry spell right there.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, especially tonight with that 2-1-2 system. It's a defensive system, so it's not geared to fast breaks, to counterattacks. It's not geared to catching people by surprise and forcing them to hold you, grab you, and hook you.
It comes back. St. Louis, Pronger able to clear. Saw that Caps power play. That's been a good one. They are second in the league. Now the penalty killers 17th in the league for the St. Louis Blues. And of course Oates does the setup work. Cleared out by Johnson before they could get it set up. Gonchar coming back to get it. Capitals led by Bondra, who leads the league with 13 power play goals. Jaromir Jagr, Bondra, Adam Oates in the power play unit didn't clear that one. Pronger back to get it to save his goaltender. Bondra gets it at center.
But those dump-ins that are straight into the cross corner come right out to Brent Johnson, going right to him.
That's an easy play for him. Jaromir Jagr brings it in, but they were offside. Minute 52 to go in the period. Friday night, 9 Eastern. Best players in hockey, age 25 and under, go at it. It's the inaugural NHL Young Stars game, to be followed by the best players in the world in the Dodge NHL Super Skills Competition. We hope you will join us Friday, ESPN from Los Angeles, taking a look at some good young players.
Yep, we got to see the fabulous freshman from the Atlanta Thrashers, Danny Heatley, his tandem partner Kovalchuk. Man, can they play. These guys are fantastic. Great things are going to happen for the Atlanta Thrashers with those two players.
We will see them in action on Friday night on ESPN. Gonchar drops it off. Power play. Still has a minute 11 left on it. That'll be deflected up and over the glass. Faceoff's going to come back out to center again on the Caps. There's the leader, Peter Bondra. Bondra has one record we haven't talked about very much. Set it back in '94. He had 4 goals in 1 game in 4 minutes and 12 seconds. It is the National Hockey League record for the fastest 4 goals scored in 1 game. So the Caps have hope.
I knew you were setting that up for a reason.
Been waiting to use that all night long, and now that they're down 4-1, there it is, right in there. Behind the net, Finley dropped it. Pronger over to get it. Oates will take it. Power play still underway for Washington, and it came to center. Gonchar, Bondra back to help. Jagr's on the right. Jaromir Jagr with the puck. Jagr's got a little room here. Jagr playing the half wall as they get it set up. Penalty killers back in the box for the Blues, and not turning very much. Jagr, he's got room to move in. Dawes now. Couldn't get it back to him, though. Bouncing puck. Woods pass, flex to center. Bondra's going to come get it. As Drake knocked it away. 20 left on the power play. 56 left in the period. Jaromir Jagr stays out. He's on the off-shooting side over here. Bondra will take it. And it's gloved by Johnson, who doesn't want to stop the clock. Fed it off to Eastwood, who gets the easy clear.
Smart play. And you can make that play with a 4-1 lead. Brent Johnson put it back in play. He didn't want to face off in his own end, especially because they're down a man. That's heads up. That's why I said Brent Johnson now, no pressure for him. He can relax and let the game come to him.
Here in the final 30 seconds of this second period. Played back by the Capitals. This has been a St. Louis Blues period. They have dominated here. Dimitra's got 2 goals. Eastwood has the other. 2 even strength goals and 1 on a power play. Tkachuk and Mellanby in this period have picked up 2 assists each. And the St. Louis Blues have taken the 3-goal lead. Poke checked away by Pronger into the corner. Played back behind the net with 5 seconds left to go in the period. Caps trying to get another chance off here. Zuber's good. Deflected right in front. Little open net. Johnson had it knocked away, and that's the period. Not a bad opportunity to finish up with down low, but it doesn't go home. We've completed 2. The Blues 4 and the Capitals 1.
System using 3 defensemen was supposed to keep the opposition's firepower at bay. That hasn't been the case. It hasn't worked tonight. And start the third period, he's gone back with Gonchar in the middle up front. That means 3 defensemen again.
3D being used half dozen times. He's done that this season. Shot in and deflected by Brent Johnson, the 24-year-old. Johnson looking for his 3rd win against the Washington Capitals in his career without a loss. Over Gonchar's head, Jamal Mayers giving chase. Mayers is going to get there and avoid the icing call. That happened once earlier. Scott Mellanby did it and resulted in a St. Louis goal. Gonchar gets turned by Tkachuk. Pavel Dimitris had 2 goals in the game. He's looking for the hat trick tonight. Jaromir Jagr over there, 1 shot, and that came in the first period of tonight's game. Leading shooter's been Peter Bondra with 3 for the Caps. Tkachuk has had 4 for the St. Louis Blues. There's Mellanby on the near side. He feathers that one up the wall just to get it in so the Blues can get a change done. Bondra came back to get it. Lost to Mellanby. Shot and a save made. Bad pass by Bondra right onto the stick of Scott Mellanby. Save made again on the blue line. Chance by Salvador. Turnover there, and Kolzig. But 4 would have been another one. St. Louis 5-0-1 in their last 6 games against Washington on our Old Spice storyline. And Pavel Dimitra looking for the hat trick. Pronger, Tkachuk, and Mellanby 2 A's each.
And our Old Spice replays some of St. Louis's offense. We could also call this the lookout defense for the Washington Caps, as in, look out, Ole, here they come again. 3 breakaways on him. The last one by Mike Eastwood. And it has been all St. Louis, our Old Spice storyline.
Zuber stumps that one back in. Couple of even strength goals picked up by the Blues in this game. Another Washington problem. 5-on-5. The Caps have now been outscored this year 116-92. That one will be tipped off the center as Witt took Boganicki down. You want to compare that, you look at the St. Louis Blues 5-on-5. They have outscored the opposition 94-7. You don't score 5-on-5, at least keep it even. You're going to be in trouble. Boganicki looking for his first NHL goal. He has taken a beating in the corners tonight. Bondra picks that one up. Peter Bondra coming the other way, dropped it far side. Washington Capitals, end of that second period, it looked like the stuffing had been taken out of them. They've got to pick it up here in the third.
You have to know they're a team that has a real fragile confidence. As a result, they're not really built to come from behind. But this team has had nothing to build on. Only 5 calendar days have the Washington Capitals been above 500 this season. So they haven't put together a stretch that they could really build on. And watching them play tonight, you wonder how in the world they will ever make the playoffs.
George McPhee, the GM, has made it clear that he's received a lot of phone calls about moving players. Ted Leonis, the owner, apparently has agreed with McPhee that there have got to be some massive changes here, and that George McPhee intends to do a lot of talking during the All-Star break in Los Angeles with other GMs.
You bet. Ted Leonsis has also given his GM, George McPhee, and his coach, Ron Wilson, and staff a couple of votes of confidence. He's not a man that's prone to panic, Ted Leonsis. No. So
we asked Wilson tonight before the game, you think you're going to stay? Are you in trouble? Got a little fiery about it. Says, you know, I have no control over that. I do what I do and try and do the best I can as the coach. That's all that we can ever do in this business. And the minute you start doing otherwise, you are going to become less of what you believe you should be because you're trying to fill somebody else's role. And I think he's absolutely right about that.
I agree.
He does what he can do. Chipped into the corner by Mike Keane. Back to get it, Klee. Ow. Klee gets back up, is all right. Ken Klee trying to turn it up the far side wall, got it out to center. St. Louis Blues here with a 3-goal lead in the third. See a lot of dumping from center ice into the zone. Good tip right there by Keane again to avoid the whistle. The veteran sent it deep behind the net. Will be touched up this time. Our 10 best tonight, all-star moments. And there you see those we have brought to you already. You can still vote. Log on ESPN.com or NHL.com.
That 34 game was a dandy. I remember being there.
You played well. You played well in that game. 1934. Ace Bailey.
I just feel old enough to have been there some mornings.
Oh, I know that feeling. Eastwood. Set back in and Pronger. Pronger cleared it around for Pavel Demitra. Tied his man up. Got it to Eastwood. 2-on-2 the other way. Eastwood's got Mellanby. Eastwood cutting. Trying to get to him. It was blocked and deflected.
I tried to be a nice guy. The play there was to shoot, and Scott Mellanby is digging in the corner knowing that right now.
Oates came back on the back check and was able to deflect it. Adam Oates out there with Jaromir Jagr. Dropped back on the far side to Mellanby again from Demitra with Tkachuk in the middle. Turned by Jagr defensively in behind the net. Down they go. Tkachuk had the puck, lost it to Gonchar. Blues still control here though. Mellanby in the middle for a one-timer. Didn't get the pass to him. Tkachuk's pass blocked high in the air and into the seats. We'll check in again with John Buccigross. John.
Gary, what Bono is to you two, Sean O'Donnell is to the Boston Bruins. Irish eyes are smiling in Boston. Watch O'Donnell in overtime. Twisted wrister to beat Montreal in overtime.
Down at the place they went wild in Boston. Want to remind you, ABC Sports will have the NHL All-Star Game presented by Nextel Saturday at 3 Eastern and at noon Pacific time. Hope you will join us. Friday night ESPN, of course, we will have the Young Stars game and the Super Skills competition. That'll be on Friday night on ESPN and then the game on ABC on Saturday. Washington Capitals. Murtank cleared it around into the middle. Bondra tipped off his skate, knocked away by Salvador. That'll be whistled on the offside call. About 4 minutes into this third period as the Blues and Caps head into the All-Star break with this game.
I talked earlier in this game about the chemistry between Keith Tkachuk and Pavel Demitra, the St. Louis Blues. They continue to put up numbers. When you combine their numbers, no two leading scorers of any team have more points than Tkachuk and Demitra combined coming into tonight's game. 106. Add 4 points to that. Dimitra's got a couple of goals. Tkachuk's got a couple of assists. And they are the top 2 scorers combined. Number 2, Joe Thornton and Sergei Samsonov of Boston. Marcus Naslund and Brendan Morrison of Vancouver, number 3.
Avanoff knocked that one away and controlled it. The defenseman got it out off Boganicki's skates. Boganicki will pick it up again. Backed it in. We get Doug Wade on it. Bounces free at center. Blues are onside. Boganicki. Boganicki saw Wade coming, but a bad pass as it was read and brought up by Zubas. Zubas with Bondra in the middle. Shot saved Johnson into the corner. The play by Johnson as he got over there on the blast by Colin Forbes. He's got the short-handed goal. The only one on the board for Washington. Blues changing, so it'll be sent in by Boganicki, and he'll head to the bench.
Eric Boganicki is going to learn very quickly that he's got to make quick, good decisions with the puck at this level. We got here penalty in the corner. Jaromir Jagr was down there.
Little tie-up with Tyson Nash.
I take that back. Zubras.
Zubras and Nash.
Bar none, the player the coaching staff says has been their best two-way player since this season began, Dinas Zubras. Nash going too? Or is he just getting
Number
caught?
9, Washington cross-checking.
No. Nash playing with that broken nose he got. The stick of his own player. It's a little sensitive when things get high on him in these hits.
There's a good save by Brent Johnson. Boy, he was over and square and stopped. There's the penalty in the corner. It was just a tad of a cross-check to the back of the neck.
So Zubras is out of there. 5th power play of the game. Power plays are 5-1 in opportunities in this game in favor of the Blues. So the Washington Capitals short-handed again on the face-off to the left side of Olaf Golzig.
Boy, the 219s for these teams have been going at it all game long. Scott Mellanby and Brendan Witt, and they're down on their knees waiting for the puck to be dropped just to the right of the screen, chatting.
Witt will stay out there on the penalty killing unit. There he is in the middle. They'll rag it back. Caps running time off clock here. Deflected out center. They need to try and take advantage of a short-handed chance if they can. Yager out there with Oates in the penalty killing unit. Save made, deflected into the corner of Pavel Dimitra's chance for the hat trick. Kachuk with it. Kachuk, Caps stay back. Little pick set up by Kachuk. Dimitra goes to Pronger. Wrists it through. Save made. Pronger in. Save. No. Went wide on Dimitra's chance. Kachuk's got it again. Allenby set up in the high slot area. Points are wide open. There's Pronger in the middle. His chance. Save made that time by Kolzig into the seats. Power play will continue for another minute 15. Rivalry week in college basketball continues tomorrow. 7 Eastern ESPN. Indiana takes on in-state rival Purdue. 7 ESPN 2 doubleheader kicks off. Number 3 Maryland, number 5 Virginia in the ACC, and the nightcap number 1 Duke takes on North Carolina. Rivalry week on ESPN. 22-20 shots in favor of the Blues in this game. Not a lot of shots.
Well, you wouldn't expect the St. Louis Blues to give up many shots again this season. They're the stingiest team in the NHL at keeping the shots against down.
Pronger gloved by Kolzig. Blues only surrender 23 shots per game. Nobody fewer. Kolzig trying to get this penalty killed off. Give the Caps a shot at it here in the third period.
Doug Waite looking to win the faceoff here. And you know that Chris Pronger is the guy that is at least one of the targets, but Doug Waite's a left-hander. He's got one choice back here. He's going forehand. He's going to try and go to Chris Pronger on the forehand side. There it is.
Pronger and a pick set up by Waite, but he gets away without the penalty. Here's Waite. Pronger the only one back along the blue line now. Waite looking in front. Cross ice one time. Pronger got that one off the heel of the stick. Blocked and cleared out by Nikolajin. Short-handed Nikolajin. Pronger knocked it down, and it will be whistled in the offside. Pettinger had already moved in on the left wing side of the Caps.
We talked about St. Louis and keeping the shots against down. Joel Quenneville, when he got to St. Louis, boy, he turned this team into just an exquisite defensive team. 23 shots against is what they are allowing right now, fewest in the NHL. If they finish the season with the fewest shots per game against allowed in the NHL season, it will be their fourth consecutive year leading the NHL in that category.
That obviously means the goals against is going to be low. They were tied for 5th last year. They're 3rd this year in goals against. They have been favored over the last couple of years to be one of the teams there to make a real run at the cup, and it really hasn't happened. Will this be their year? Off the near side boards. Power play still underway. 29 seconds left on it. On top Salvador. Blocker save. Pavel Dimitra kicks it back. Near side to Doug Waite. Waite looking. Dimitra comes from behind the net. Chuck set up in front of it. Tic tac along the near side wall. Dimitra lost control of it. Poked away by Kachuk. Off the dasher. Corb could not clear. Salvador back into the middle. Held it in. Wide of the net on the turnaround. Power play is 3 seconds on the clock. Doug Waite with it. And the power play is over. Waite in. Chance. Blocked. 5 on 5. Waite still has the puck. Moves it back over to Salvador. Deflected. Bondra giving chase. Bondra on Salvador. Able to free the puck up. Got onside. Forbes trying to move in. Squeezed off the play. Cleared back out to center. So they do not convert the Blues on that power play opportunity, and it remains a 4-1 game with 13 minutes left to go. Washington Capitals 14th in home record, 13-8-5 on their home ice this year. Yager trying to move it in. Didn't have anybody there with him.
He is.
Spun and draw.
Jaromir Jagr has seen a wall of blue every time he's touched the puck. But when he leads a one-man rush, that's what you're going to see. I mean, the Capitals haven't been very creative. They don't have enough speed to really open the Blues up. And when it's left to Jagr, it's usually Jagr against the blue world out there.
When you are short of that speed and offensive talent, the opposing team knows they can concentrate. So they do. Gonchar got taken down and the penalty coming. Blues are going to be short-handed. We'll have a power play coming up for the Capitals, down by 3.
Dallas Drake will be going nowhere for the next 2 minutes.
Sitting watching, 7:31 on the hooking call. Just the second power play Washington Capitals have had in this game. Bondra, their leading power play goal scorer out there. Yager, chance deflected. Adamo set up in front of the net on that. Yager left it. Back on top to Gonchar. Zubris on the near side. Zubris. St. Louis on the near side wall, able to deflect the pass out to center. That's what you were talking about, Bill. Not very creative. Right back to the guy who passed it to you, only 3 feet away. Makes it pretty easy for the D.
Yep, and the dump in, everybody's being held up, and the St. Louis Blues just coming back.
Jamal Mayers, and they'll rag it back. Pronger back on D. Power play here for Washington, but St. Louis has the puck. Hard wraparound, comes all the way on top to Nash, who touches it up, but they were going to be offside on that. And they'll move that face-off all the way up to the other end, intentional. The call.
We talked about Tkachuk and Dimitra leading the way as the top 2 scorers when their points are combined. Chris Pronger and Al MacInnis lead all defensemen. No team can match the totals that Pronger and MacInnis have put up. 67 points coming into tonight's action. Second place for Rob Blake and Martin Skula of the Colorado Avs.
McGinnis, as we said, out tonight with that foot injury. He's played in 45 games on the year and 5th among defensemen in scoring. Pronger is 8th among defensemen in scoring. But Bill's pointing out how important they are to that offense. Jamal Mayers on the draw won it, and Jamal Mayers cleared it out. Good work by Mayers off that faceoff.
Yeah, and those are tricky faceoffs when you're a man short, about 5 feet inside your blue line. You really have to talk over the coverage, and that's what they were doing, because if you lose the draw inside the blue line and it goes laterally to the side to the open area of the ice, you got a big problem right away.
Power play near side. Lost to Pronger. Fortin had an opportunity just to shoot there and didn't. He'll have to chase the puck down. 37 left on the Capitals power play. I'll tell you, this is, in a word, a miserable way for the Washington Capitals to go into the All-Star break. As some of the players noted on both teams, you don't want to have a bad game here because you got so long to think about it. And you got to wait a long time to get back at it.
That's exactly right. It's like eating something that tastes awful and not being able to get the taste out of your mouth for 5 or 6 games if you lose going into the All-Star break.
The way the Caps are playing right now, it is not going to be a sweet taste they will carry through the All-Star break. In the middle, Forbes sends it back in.
Be like rancid olives or something.
Just you don't want to say a team quits, because in sports you never want to say that. But boy, the Capitals tonight,
clearly they lack life.
At points in this game have really just kind of walked through it. Let's check in again with John Butchergrass. John.
Rancid. I have all their CDs, Bill. 1-800-COLLECT, great save of the night in Montreal. Byron Defoe, 400th NHL game tonight. Watch the save on Mike Ribeiro. Oh, smell the glove. Here's Beisey again. Bruins and Beisey get a win in overtime.
Well, Spielix.
It's Bill's night. Bill, go ahead.
I have it's my first day with a new mouth, in case anybody at home couldn't tell. Speaking of things that taste bad, how about that old goalie glove?
You gotta love those for a little dessert.
Telling you, I gotta go and get checked up. I don't know what kind of doctor to go to.
Try one who, never mind. Tkachuk going back in behind the net. Gonchar put the hit on him there. Looking in front for Tkachuk. It came through. He gets taken down, though, as the puck just bounced off his stick as it came through the middle. He was set up in front of the net. Down to 9:54 left to go here in this third period. Off the near side boards. Tkachuk with it. Drops it off. Dimitra looking for a hat trick out there on the ice. He'll get some chances here in the final half of this third period. He's only had a couple of hat tricks in his career. Knocked away off the near side by Alf Dahlen. Dahlen, a couple of goals, a couple of assists in 5 games, looking to add to it. Shot, save made Johnson. And that's that. Except for that. A little high sticking in front. Jeff Finley getting involved.
Hello?
Collect calls.
Did you use 1-800-COLLECT?
1-800-COLLECT presents Ava Save-A-Lot, starring in the most horrifying movie ever. I know you're not calling me with 1-800-COLLECT.
What kind of twisted mind wouldn't want me to save $1 or $2? It's so easy. What a nightmare.
1-800-COLLECT. Save a buck or two.
We'll take this moment for our top shelf, brought to you by Nextel, your direct connection with the best players. Tonight, Chris Pronger on, playing the man in front of the net.
5-on-5, you're going to want to try to move him. Try to tie up a stick more so than the man, and you know, try to lay a little bit of a hurt on him and make sure he doesn't want to stand there anymore.
Chris Pronger hasn't had to do a lot of that in this hockey game because Washington has had no sustained pressure, really. To be honest with you, truth be told, we've been looking for a replay to attach to that soundbite that we talked to Chris Pronger about this morning and have struggled to find him having to deal with anybody in front of Brent Johnson.
A pretty easy game for him in that regard, and he'll take that on a night where he doesn't have Al McGinnis working with him out there. Great to have you with us here with 9:20 left to go. And the Washington Capitals down 4-1. Again, the offense, which they've had some of this year, has disappeared in this game. They have, over the last 10 games, just struggled. They have not scored more than 3 goals in the last 10 games they've played.
Right.
And the defense has continued to not get the job done. So now it's both sides of this game.
It pretty well can be summed up like this. The Washington Capitals have the 6th highest payroll, and they're the 5th oldest team in the NHL. That means they're in the top 20% of both of those categories. They should be a team challenging for the Stanley Cup in those 2 categories.
Played back in behind the net by the Caps. The Blues will back up here, going into that defensive shutdown. That's what they want to do. Jaromir Jagr, a little room. Pronger takes him down. Penalty coming. Good move by Jagr.
Great move. Yep.
He got around Pronger, and Pronger had no choice.
Yep. Jaromir Jagr's been dangerous when he's been able to ISO people one-on-one. That way he can work his magic and dance a little bit.
St. Louis hooking.
But Jagr's had a hard time ISOing anybody one-on-one. Here he cuts across ice on an angle and ends up right one-on-one with Chris Pronger, and he beat him cleanly. That's a legitimate penalty. If he doesn't take it, Jagr goes in all alone there. Pronger wanted to get his left glove in front of the shoulder of Jagr and try to turn him against the boards. But Jagr slipped by. Good call, and now the Capitals can try and mount a comeback. But boy, they haven't shown any signs, even on their last power play, of having what it takes to do that.
Jaromir Jagr, 25th in the league in scoring with 45 points, but averaging more than any other player at 1.1 per game. Jagr's had some problems with a knee in the groin that have kept him out of games. That's the reason he's at 25th and not higher. That shot of Jagr's blocked straight up in the air. Finley, Eastwood, and he cleared. Gonchar back to get it. Pronger out, 3rd power play of the game for the Washington Capitals. They have not converted on the previous 2 here tonight. They have a short-handed goal. That's the only goal they picked up. Gonchar brings it in. Tried to pass it across ice, and it got bounced away by Salvador. Adam Oates leaves it behind the net. Oates out there on the power play unit working in the corner. There he is. 20th leading scorer all time in NHL history. Adam Oates. Shot wide. Salvador off the boards and cleared up the far side wall by Mike Keane. Keane continues to be one of the game's outstanding penalty killers everywhere Mike Keane has played. Short-handed units generally are pretty darn good. That one's brought in on the offside.
Our countdown continues. We are down to number 2 in our 10 best all-star moments. 1989, Edmonton. Just 7 months after being traded to Los Angeles, Wayne Gretzky was back in Edmonton. An incredible ovation during the introductions, followed by Wayne Gretzky recording a goal and 2 assists. That helped the Campbell Conference win 9-5, and it helped Wayne Gretzky earn his 2nd All-Star Game MVP. Number 2, Wayne Gretzky in 1989.
Jaromir Jagr. Speaking of All-Star games, is he going to be there or not? Question that remains up in the air because of the groin problem. I think Jaromir Jagr's personal choice would be to rest it and not go. But he is back on the ice playing, and the league clearly is going to want him.
But you know that the Olympic obligation will come into the equation, as it has with some other people too. Some of these athletes are between a rock and a hard place. They can't win because they have to represent their country, and there's a great degree of responsibility and pressure that comes with that. They also feel a responsibility to show up and showcase their skills at our All-Star game. It's a no-win for some of them.
Back onto the point, power play, down to 17 seconds. Johnson watching as that one deflected off the glass behind him. The chair along the near side point could not hold that one in, and it'll be whistled on the offside. It's here, ESPN, ESPN2 at ABC. Bring you complete coverage of the world's greatest extreme winter athletes. They compete in the Winter X Games 6. Day 1 coverage kicks off Friday, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. And you can catch a 1-hour recap of the day's action at midnight Eastern on ESPN. And for more, log on to ESPN.com. More and more, Bill, as I talk to players around the National Hockey League, and talking with Al McGinnis about it tonight, they can't say it because it sounds unpatriotic, but for many of them, their hope is this will be the last year the NHL competes in the Olympics. A lot of them want out, especially U.S. and Canadian players. It's just too risky. There's too much money personally that they put on the line for an injury. Their teams suffer. This compacted schedule this year is hurting.
They get killed by the schedule. But not only do the guys that go to the Olympics get killed, everybody else does, except for the 2 weeks when the star players on their teams are gone, because they're getting crushed with that condensed schedule as well. Without question, it is an incredibly difficult season, and man, we got a scrap going on here. Chris Simon down again. Bryce Salvador, remember? Yeah, and Chris Simon landed on his back a second time, which is really unusual. He's a bigger man.
Salvador is not noted, Bryce Salvador, as being a fighter. They got into it earlier, and the same thing happened.
I don't think Chris Simon liked being tipped over in the first one. He looked like he was the aggressor on this one, but Bryce Salvador did pretty well again. Here it is. Chris Simon took him to the boards. Well, I don't know. It almost, swing and a miss. That looked like Tyson's press conference there, that left hand. But it almost looked like Bryce Salvador was ready to drop him as quickly as Chris Simon.
He is not backing down. And they're each going to go with a 5 for fighting there. What you say? We got a number 1. Our 10 best all-star moments. Twice in a 3-year span, Mario Lemieux made all-star games his personal stage. 88 St. Louis, 3 goals, 3 assists, having a hand in 6 of the Wales Conference goals. 2 years later in Pittsburgh, 3 first-period goals in an all-star game on his home ice. You expect it of the great ones. They come through. You saw Gretzky earlier. You see Mario there. Mario Lemieux, superstar and number 1 on our 10 best all-star moments.
I'm already pushing for the 10 best.
That's good. That'll come at the end of the year.
Yep, and we're going to have a list, too, of how many times some of these guys that are repeat 10 besters have been on our list. And Mario's been in a half a dozen times, Wayne Gretzky at least that many.
As you would expect for what their careers have been. Havanov shot got blocked. Go back through center with 6:20 left to go. We get the 5 for fighting. Salvador and Simon are both out of there. 13:04. Not result in any advantage for anybody here. Stillman of St. Louis got the first goal first period. Forbes came back with a short-handed goal and tied it. Since then, Dimitra has 2. Eastwood has 1. And for those of you who voted, thank you. And there are the results of your votes.
A lot of San Jose fans on board. Glad you're watching and playing the game. Fantastic. 32%. That was a terrific all-star moment.
Shot taken by Bondra, save made by Johnson, who just kicked it off the near side. Doug Wade able to clear it out. Boganicki going in the middle. Dump pass goes through. It'll be chased down by Kolzig up the near side, not out. Shot Finley, save made by Kolzig off the far side wall. Boganicki will drop that one back. Doug Wade will pick it up. Wade in the corner, tied up. Looking, Stillman working in behind. The net goes to the front. Pass force, Stillman got blocked. And the attempt to clear didn't go anywhere, and a second attempt moves it out. Jaromir Jagr leaves it near side for Bondra. Bondra, Jagr, and Oates together. Knocked away near side by Johnson. And Boganicki will flip it back out into the middle. Gonchar there. So many hopes here in Washington that with Michael Jordan coming back with the Wizards, with Jaromir Jagr joining the Capitals, that the nation's capital would become a focal point for winter sports. Michael Jordan, obviously, more so, but for the Caps, it's going down and getting worse here. The way they have played tonight. Off the near side, the hit put on. Mike Keane pinned up on the wall, held the puck there momentarily. 4:37 remaining as it comes free to Drake. The center, Gonchar. Capitals clearing the zone, taking away Pronger, got it out to Corso, flipped it back. St. Louis looking for their 29th end of the year, 11th on the road. Washington Capitals suffer their 26th loss. It'll be 6 games under 500 with a loss in this game here tonight. Corso had it on the far side, takes the hit. Get control of the puck.
St. Louis deserves a lot of credit in this hockey game. We've talked about Washington and how they just seem lifeless at times. St. Louis has negated countless number of icings in this game just with their hustle. It also accentuates part of the speed problem the Washington Capitals have, especially on their blue line. But give the St. Louis Blues full marks for their effort in this one.
They have played it tough from beginning to end. Brendan Witt put the hit on Havanov. Those two separate. Centering pass in front, intercepted. Jamal Mayers moves it out. Mayers with Nash the trailer. Mayers in. Waits. Nash cutting to the net. Shot deflected behind it. Nash came back to get it. Witt will cover the puck. 11th overall choice in '93. Brendan Witt. Couple of goals on the season. Sticks flying on the ice here. The Blues change it up. Drop pass in the middle. Dimitra. Dimitra centered. Oates was the only one there. Went underneath his stick. And it'll be cleared away.
Well, these folks that are left just won't stop booing.
Not happy.
No, and sadly from a Washington standpoint, there won't be any trouble getting out of the parking lots tonight.
No. Roll back in off Mellenby's stick. Far side Yager. Left it for Bondra. Peter Bondra. Poke checked away by Pronger. Dropped back deeper into the zone. Kuchera coming back to get it. Sent back for Bondra. Yager on the right. Yager. Bondra's in the middle. Oates on the other side. There's Oates. Adam Oates looking, wanted to set it up. Goes back on net. Kuchera's chance. Blocked away. Good play by Brent Johnson. He's going to get the win in net. His 22nd of the year. Brent Johnson with a 4-1 lead. The shorthanded goal against him. The only one scored. Right now, matter of running it off.
Freddie Brathwaite would give anything to have 4 goals to work with. In Brathwaite's last 2 starts, his team scored a total of 1 goal for him.
Boganicki moves in a 3-on-3. Heading to the middle, Boganicki wanted a tip. Came off the goaltender Kolzig. Stillman sends it back the other way. Pavel Dimitra. Dimitra hit by Gonchar. Dimitra coming to the front. Dimitra centered. Shot there, and that one's blocked on a whistle and an interference call. Penalty. We'll catch it when we come back. 4-1 Blues on top of the Cavs. ESPN Wednesday night hockey from our nation's capital. Presented by Nextel. But it's the Blues on the road to have the 4-1 lead. Sports Center is coming up next. Look at the Super Bowl just around the corner. Catch up on all the National Hockey League games. Scores and highlights from that as well. Eastwood out to take the face-off at center. Adam Oates off this draw. Eastwood went over. Knocked it away himself. Got a penalty here on the Blues. Power play for the Capitals. Boganicki out interference at 17:59. This will be the 4th power play of the game for the Washington Capitals. They're down to 1:41 left on the clock in the game. Johnson. Pronger. Hard wraparound deflected to Eastwood. Eastwood out. Little run for Keane. Mike Keane shorthanded. That double team. Poke checked into the corner. Bondra came back to help Gonchar on that. And the Washington Capitals will have Jaromir Jagr staying out there. Create some room. Bondra with it. Dropped it to Jagr. Jagr got it in the middle. Gonchar shot wide. And the rebound went into the seats. With 1:12 to go in the game. Now the Blues can leave feeling good about themselves. Move a little bit closer to the number 4 spot. And the test for home ice that they would like to have in the first round of the playoffs.
Our Southwest Airlines goal cam gives us a pretty good idea of just what it's been like from Brent Johnson's point of view in the last little while, and it's been just about like that. Hasn't had to move very much. Hasn't had to make many saves. Got a nice cushion to work with for most of this game, and he's performed well.
He is 13th in the league in goals against coming into this game. Fred Brathwaite 3rd in the league in goals against, but Johnson's about a 2-to-1 ratio in games played this year. And behind the net, Kachera. 1 minute left to go here in the third period. Pass in the middle, intercepted. Nash sends it right back the other way. Off Kolzig back to play it. This has been one of those nights for the Caps. Oates sends it in. Johnson knocked that one down. Kicked in by Kachera. Eastwood tied him up. Drake trying to clear it out, and it did come to center. Kicked away. Drake moving in. 1-on-1 the other way. Drake chance, save made. Kolzig, and he'll deflect it off the near side boards. The Washington Capitals will go into the break with a loss here at home, with only 1 win in their last 8 games, while the St. Louis Blues will get out of a 3-game losing streak and put one in that W column for their break. Kolzig plays it back in behind the net. Washington has not won more than 3 games this season. They've done that twice with consecutive wins. Dimitra, a couple of assists. Kachuk, Mellanby, Pronger, 2 assists each. Stillman, Eastwood, a goal each. Johnson came away with 24 saves. Forbes, the short-ended goal for the Caps.
A lot of the magic between Dimitra and Kachuk continued tonight. A couple of goals for Dimitra, 2 assists for Kachuk, and a good outing for Brent Johnson. This was a pretty complete win for the St. Louis Blues. There wasn't much missing.
So the St. Louis Blues winning for the 2nd time this season, both times 4-1 against the Washington Capitals. The only 2 times these teams will play. That's the way this one ended. Don't forget Friday night, ESPN, the All-Star Skills Competition, 8 Eastern. And that'll be followed by the All-Star game itself on ABC, coming up at 3 o'clock Eastern, noon Pacific time. Sports Center is coming up next. For Bill Clement and all of our crew, I'm Gary Thorne. Thanks for being with us, everybody. Blues win it 4-1. Good night from Washington.